Let's see what happens. Hello, good afternoon if you're watching me in real time, to Facebook and to YouTube. Nice to have the pleasure of your company. I'm just going to adjust that because my setup here, I'm in a slightly different place. So I just want to make sure that it's all set up nicely for everybody, because it's a different format, of course. Facebook and YouTube are a little bit different. Yeah, there you go. Can you see my flowers in the background? I don't think you can you, on Facebook? I'm going to move them, just because they're such cheerful looking tulips. How about that? Is that better? Yes, there we go. Nice to see everybody. So I've got some very interesting chat planned today with a brilliant dentist who specialises in the oral microbiome. So you know me, I bang on about gut health all the time and talk about the microbiome that we have in our bodies. And this is something that we also have a microbiome in our mouths, and there's an awful lot we can do to get better gut health, and also all sorts of other really interesting links like mental health and hormonal health and all of that. So I thought it'd be really fascinating to just have a bit of a discussion about it. So anyway, before we go into that, that's going to be on Instagram Live. So hopefully our connectivity will work. You know how we are sometimes stymied with that, but Dr. Maria will be with me for that. I've also got just a quick bit of news just to remind everybody as we race up to the end of the month. My goodness, we're about to start a whole new month, aren't we? That there are a couple of Liz Loves offers that are expiring, so just be aware, okay? Now, I was with the wonderful Katie Brendel on Monday, and we did the demo of her amazing gua sha. And she has these, this is the beautiful quartz one. It's amazing and I love it. And the jade one is also really interesting. And she talks about the special properties that these natural crystals have, which is one of the reasons why she uses them in her facial massage, and also just the shape of them. You know, they really are good. I find this bit particularly, this little shape is really good if you've got jaw tension. Anyway, check her out. It's the Heiu method. Which I know that I think have we got Betty in the house today on Facebook. Are you doing the lives for us? And on Instagram you'll find them if you go into my bio and click the little blue Linktree link, then all the links to discounts and things pop up. But these are amazing, and we have 20% off, but it is just until the 1st of Feb. So thank you very much indeed for letting us do that, Katie. Absolutely love them. You will have seen possibly my little teaspoon massage, not quite the same as the gua sha, but you know, similar principles. And that's something that I've done for years. It's actually in one of my very old beauty books, and it's my first ever reel. So on Instagram you'll know what a reel is, possibly. I'm new to all of this and not quite as techie as my wonderful daughter Lily, who also posted her first reel actually this week. So if on Facebook, reels are these sort of funny little, I guess they're like the Instagram version of TikTok, are they? They're kind of like short, snappy little videos, often to music. In fact, I think you have to put music on them, I think. And yeah, they just sort of live as part of the Instagram family. So I'm going to build up, perhaps, if I get brave and get any better at it. I might try and do a few more reels. Lots of suggestions already coming in about things like facial exercises that you'd like to see. Obviously I did the breathing technique earlier this week as part of my 5 minutes, which is something that I've been running all week just to try and reclaim a little bit of time for ourselves. Anyway, so facial massage, whichever way you do it and whatever you use, I think is a really good tool. The other really good tool, which you absolutely should look at and don't miss, because again, this is the Heiu method, and I talked about this with Katie, and she's very generously given us the 20% discount on this as well. And I need to rush to the website because I'm really going to get these for my friends. I think they're just brilliant. They're like natural lightsabers, and it's about tapping. Okay, so it's about tapping the body, and it's a great shape because you can tap the back. And I know there was lots of chat, actually, particularly on Instagram, where I can read the comments more easily. And that was really to do with so many people who already knew about Katie and already knew and were doing tapping and were saying it's the most amazing thing. And unlike body brushing, which stimulates our lymphatic system, Katie was explaining that this method of tapping is tapping into our autonomic nervous system, and it's sort of working on the Eastern principles of qi and energy, which is something as a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner that she's well versed in. So really fascinating. Do check out her website and take a look. But if you'd like to grab any of these, and the discounts are only on her single products, because when she bundles them all together, there's already a discount in there, so the margins are a lot less. But she's able to do that on. So if you fancy a gua sha, or you fancy a body tapper, or one of each maybe, then you can use your Liz Loves code. Now, something else that's also running out at the end of the month, which I have just applied, not to let you miss out on that, is Dr. Lip. So what a fab colour this is. I've actually used this over a little bit of other lip stain that I was using, my Beauty Pie. But I love this one. This is, I think, the red radish pigment. So it's just natural vegetables and purified lanolin, which is just brilliant if your lips are feeling really chapped and dry at the moment. Absolutely love it. 20% off at the moment, but just until the end of January, okay? Then I think we do keep a discount, but I think it goes down to maybe 10%. So anyway, if you want to stock up on your Dr. Lip, now is the time to do it. So, having got those little notices out of the way, let's get on to the real story today, which is talking all about... oh, why is this not opening properly? Here we go. Talking all about oral mouth health and microbiome. And I've been really interested actually to read Dr. Maria's Instagram. She's the lifestyle dentist, by the way. So let's see if she is in the house. To join. I think, have you requested to join me? Let's just see. Lots of other people have. That's no good. I want my lifestyle dentist. Let us just check. Oh, there we go. We're lost. There we go, hopefully. Maria will be with us shortly. But this is a really interesting area of research, and I remember first writing about this for my gut book. Hi, Dr. Maria, how are you?
I'm really well, thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Oh,
meet you.
Where are you speaking to us from? You've got a beautiful garden in the background outside of your window. Where are you?
Yes, thank you. So we live in southwest Scotland, actually. So this is the view that we have just out the window.
I'm sorry you can't see it on Facebook or YouTube, but it's, yes, beautiful, beautiful countryside. I'm down here in southwest of England, so opposite ends
there we go.
of
Opposite ends.
the nation. But isn't this great that we can connect like this in real time? It's really...
Isn't it? Yeah, it's wonderful. I know.
Really clever.
Yeah.
And I've been stalking you on Instagram and really loving the feeds that you've been doing and the information just linking gut health all the time to oral health. So tell us about your journey as a dentist. When did this sort of fascination with the microbes start for you?
That's a good question. I think probably once I started having children and my general interest in health grew, I started to, I think as anyone does, want to bestow the best on their children, and my knowledge, therefore, I naturally started to seek the information and really try and do the best for my children, for myself. So it became like a personal journey. And so now I'm really passionate about sort of spreading that message and just creating a bigger picture for people to understand the oral microbiome and the importance of it, not just in the mouth, but also its impact on gut health and on overall health.
Because we have different microbes, don't we, in our mouths and gums that are unique to that area that you don't actually find anywhere else. Is that right?
Yeah, so we have, I mean, the mouth holds a huge amount of bacteria and microbes, over 700 species actually. So second to the gut, it has the largest amount.
Really?
And yeah, there's a lot going on in our mouth that we don't really think about day to day.
Yeah.
And even when you go to the dentist, you probably don't really think about the kind of bigger picture. It's just you think about getting your teeth checked and kind of that's about
Absolutely. You think, do I have any fillings, do my teeth, needing attention? You might think a little bit about your gums and, should I be flossing, that kind of thing, but that's possibly as far as it goes.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And there's so much more to think about, and so much more that we as individuals can do to impact our own oral microbiomes and oral health. So I think a lot of it is just about trying to empower people with that knowledge a bit more about looking after your mouth from a holistic point of view, as well as how it can impact your overall health.
So what's the role then of the microbes in the mouth? Why do we have them? Are they there just to keep our teeth healthy?
So we have a special relationship with our microbes, I suppose, as we do in the gut. So we have, in oral health, you have a harmonious relationship with them. And, they're working with you, and they're benefiting, they're seeding your gut microbiome as well. So that's where it begins. So from birth, the oral microbiome then seeds into the gut. So it's the first point, effectively. And we want to keep that harmony in our mouths. And it's a delicate balance, and it's not something that is particularly straightforward. There are lots of factors that can vary your microbiome, and everyone has an individual microbiome and different levels of species. Much the same as our guts, actually.
Yeah. Should we be eating certain things then to keep the microbes in the mouth healthy?
Yes, so nutrition has a huge part in oral health. It's actually a key component that's probably overlooked when it comes to our mouths. We think about it a lot with the gut and how we can impact it, but nutrition is really key to oral health as well. And we want to encourage effectively the good bacteria or the good microbes in our mouth, and discourage proliferation of the bad bacteria, the ones that can then start to cause things like dental decay, gum disease. So it's trying to keep that balance in check, and nutrition is key. Nutrition can help. It can help support a balanced microbiome. So
is that things like having kefir and eating plain yogurt?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of. It's quite an exciting new area, but there's emerging evidence now that these things like kefir and cultured products can have a positive influence on rebalancing the oral microbiome.
And then what about some of the negative things? Things like, I'm always a little bit wary of the foaming agents in toothpaste, things like sodium lauryl sulfate that we're brushing our teeth with. Are they going to be disruptive to the microbiome?
So yes, you want to try and maintain a kind of a balanced environment. So harsh agents can be, sometimes for certain people, can be quite have a negative effect. So as you say, sodium lauryl sulfate is one of those ones that certain toothpaste exclude now for that reason, to try and have a more balancing effect in the mouth. And things like some people choose to use mouthwashes, and some mouthwashes have quite harsh agents in them, alcohol-containing mouthwashes. Which
there's a lot of alcohol. I mean, I remember I had a friend who would use. I remember travelling, and they would use this mouthwash, which was basically neat alcohol. 2 or 3 times a day. And I was thinking, my goodness, what is that doing? You're knocking out all the good bugs as well as the bad bugs. Do we need a mouthwash? Is a mouthwash helpful for things like bacterial decay and bad breath?
So I think mouthwash has a place. It's not for everybody. There are lots of things we can be doing, and we're brushing your teeth well, and brushing between your teeth, so the interdental side of cleaning as well, is one of the most important ways to try and remove plaque, which is the bacterial biofilm that sits on your teeth. Tongue scraping is another one that actually you've got bacteria that sit on the surface of your tongue, that they are probably the biggest culprits for bad breath.
Are they? Okay, so I remember doing a tutorial years ago now with Jasmine Hemsley, and she's very much into Eastern, Ayurvedic principles, and she gave me a copper tongue scraper, which I do have sitting in my bathroom. I have to say it's not well used. Should I be using it? Should we be scraping our tongues?
Yes,
really?
I think so. I've actually got the same one. I think it's nice when it's a copper. I think a copper one is quite a nice metal to use in your mouth.
Well, they say it's antibacterial, don't they? Even they're saying that COVID doesn't survive on copper, which is really interesting.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So often the bacteria that produce the kind of bad smells, which these volatile sulfur compounds, can kind of accumulate on the surface of your tongue.
Okay,
So
should we be scraping it every morning? I'm just seeing questions coming up on Instagram.
Yes, so
Yes,
absolutely.
Okay. There you go,
Yes,
there's a takeaway.
Daily, absolutely. First in the morning. That's, I think, that these ancient practices often get it right, so we forget. People, all these years ago, actually had some method and science behind it, which even today
knew before we did. What about brushing your tongue? Would that be as effective? I know some people who brush their tongue.
Brushing your tongue is another option. The thing with brushing your tongue is you can just be sort of moving the bacteria around. Whereas the good thing with a scraper is you are cleaning removing the bacteria. So it's you do one scrape and give it a rinse, and then another one, and then you are more effective.
And you're scraping, and that is really scraping away the bad bugs. You're not going to be scraping away the good bugs sitting there.
So you'll never get rid of all the bugs, but the majority that sit on the surface of your tongue that do produce these volatile sulfur compounds, you will be removing. Yeah. So a lot of it is trying to remove. So it's the bulk of bacteria that causes the negative effects. So it's causing your bad breath, causing dental decay and gum disease. So these bacteria are the ones that sit in the biofilm, in the plaque. Yeah. So we want to remove the plaque, and that is a key factor in trying to maintain oral health. So
I'm hearing more and more about biofilms. And these really, am I right in saying that they're sort of pockets of very nasty bacterias that can be, antibiotic resistant and all sorts, and can lead to all sorts of other health issues?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you have plaque that sits on your tooth surface for a long period of time, I mean, that can be one of the key causal agents of gum disease, so periodontal disease. So the key thing is mechanical removal of this plaque and flossing, getting between your teeth as well, because a lot of the tooth surface we won't reach with just a toothbrush, so you want to think about getting between your teeth as well. That's absolutely key to try and shift that biofilm on a regular basis to avoid that proliferation of the bugs.
I've also heard that the biofilms or the nasty bacteria in the gums can lead to things like heart disease. Yes,
so this is all very exciting knowledge now.
Tell us about that.
Well established. So the links, there are now very much confirmed links between gum health, so periodontal disease links to cardiovascular disease, so heart disease, and also other chronic inflammatory conditions, so things like diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis. These things are now shown to have a direct link to gum disease. And mainly these inflammatory conditions, which is what periodontal disease or gum disease is, they have similarities. So these bad bacteria that are sitting in our mouths that proliferate this disease then enter the bloodstream. And once they're in the bloodstream, of course, they have the effect on different parts of your body. So it's not just isolated to your mouth. And equally, those people that do have cardiovascular disease are at a higher risk of gum disease, because it does go both ways. So we have to think about the holistic picture of your whole body health when it comes to your mouth, and how managing your oral health can have a knock-on effect on your
What's the best way to brush our teeth? I was hearing from a dentist the other day that actually going round and round in little movements, particularly up around the gum, is actually better than just going up and down.
Yes, it depends which toothbrush you use.
Okay.
I think those either use an electric toothbrush, which I'm a grand advocate for.
Okay.
There is evidence now to say that electric toothbrushes are better at plaque removal, so it's worth getting an electric one if you're not on one.
I have got one, but I don't use it. I must
really?
Charge it up. I don't know why. Maybe I just don't feel so in control of it, and it's kind of quite bulky, the handle, and I don't know, but it
takes some getting used to. I think you're right. I think it's quite a transition from a normal toothbrush.
I will try again.
The advantage is the motion, this, especially ones that oscillate, rotate, that movement is associated with better plaque removal. So evidence now suggests that sort of toothbrush is the one to improve the removal of plaque. So you want to angle the toothbrush so it's angling into your gums. This is the key feature.
Okay.
So you want to try and get the sort of 45-degree angle of the bristles.
Up into the gum then? Ooh.
Yeah, so putting into the gum line. So where the gum meets the tooth is where bacteria tend to collect. That's the key area where plaque will sit, and you want to target when you brush your teeth.
Fascinating. So and then follow it with flossing. Do you have to floss every day?
Well, you can floss before. It's a really personal preference. Some people like to floss before, some people floss after.
Oh, I wonder. I have to do a poll on my Instagram to find out whether people floss before or after brushing.
Yeah, some people say flossing before. Some people say it's better because then when you brush your teeth, you've got more sort of fluoride to get into the clean parts of the in-between parts of your teeth.
Yes, that makes sense.
Fluoride is still our gold standard of remineralising our teeth.
Is it? Okay, so fluoride is not going to have a bad impact on our microbes then?
No, not at all. Fluoride is still very much a positive influence on our oral health. And I know a lot of people are maybe a bit nervous about fluoride, and a lot of toothpaste now are fluoride free, but within the profession it's still very much seen as our gold standard of decay prevention. There are there's some new evidence coming in about hydroxyapatite, which is these toothpastes are showing actually some really promising results, which can be fluoride free. But at this point, it's hard to make the complete transition. So we can be without fluoride. So I would say that if you can stick with fluoride toothpaste, then that would be strongly advised.
Okay. And what about these ones now that claim to be able to remineralise your teeth? Because, obviously, like everybody here, I'm not getting any younger, and I'm thinking I'd quite like to hang on to my own teeth, thank you very much. And is it worth paying for a more expensive toothpaste that says it's going to help to remineralise, whatever that means?
I mean a lot of it that you read can be slightly, a lot of marketing goes into these things. It's hard to judge exactly to believe exactly what you read on the tin sometimes. There are a few key things to think about, fluoride being one of them. If SLS free, people who are sensitive in their mouths, and actually you want to try and keep a gentle environment, I would opt for an SLS free toothpaste. Stannous fluoride is also shown to be better at reducing sensitivity as well as trying to remineralise your teeth. So
what is?
So it's called stannous fluoride. So there's different types of fluoride that can be in toothpaste, and some contain a stannous version, which is just a type, the way it's chemically
formulated. Will that be listed on the pack as stannous fluoride?
Which should be listed as an ingredient, So
it'll say stannous fluoride rather than just fluoride?
Yes, So if you just have a look at the label at the back, and there is a personal preference side to it as well, the flavour some people prefer, and I think a lot of it is your personal choice.
What about whitening? Because, I have to say, I'm quite conscious as I get older that my teeth get yellower, and I have, I've had them whitened with, I didn't use the kind of peroxide-y thing, I used some sort of laser thing. It was a while ago, actually. I wrote about it for the magazine. I must dig out that article and have a look at it, because it was really quite effective. And then since then, I've been using just a commercial whitening toothpaste. I think it's a Pearl Drops or something toothpaste. But I'm now aware, from talking to you, and I know that you've been helping us with some articles at Earle Wellbeing, thank you, that, I need to be a little bit more careful, perhaps. What are the ingredients that will whiten our teeth, and are they things that we should be wary of, perhaps?
So there's a small level of hydrogen peroxide, which is what we bleach, effectively, what we whiten teeth with, which is actually a very, very small concentration in over-the-counter toothpaste. So it's, when you have a whitening toothpaste, it's not a concentration that's enough to be worried about, and probably not enough of concentration to have a dramatic effect as well. So whitening your teeth, effectively what we're trying to do is break down these chromogens, which are the chemicals that stain your teeth, and these can be broken down with the hydrogen peroxide. A lot of whitening, having white healthy teeth, is also just having a healthy mouth, and it's very strongly linked to just doing the right thing, looking after your mouth, eating a nutritious, well-balanced diet, having excellent oral hygiene. And
really, that will actually affect the colour of your teeth?
Yes, I think if you have a healthy mouth, you won't have the visible tartar which can build up in your mouth, which is what will be in yellow dark colour. So you won't have the plaque in your mouth, which is what actually hardens and becomes this tartar. So that it works in that, a healthy mouth is generally a happy whiter mouth, but as teeth, as we do get older, the enamel thins and the dentin is the yellower substance underneath, which can start to sort of shine through a little bit.
Right. So that's why our teeth look more yellow, is it, when we get older? And I know people, who write about aging and, define the signs of aging. One of the first things they'll say is, have your teeth whitened, because it takes decades off you. But I'd be a bit wary of that, because presumably you're going to damage your teeth as well, aren't you, by doing that?
Well, whitening is not a damaging process. So if you have it done, providing you have it done professionally by your dentist. So there's dentists and dental professionals now are uniquely qualified to provide it. However, there are beauticians and things that still might try to. So I would really urge you to see a dentist, and not also to try these kind of online kits that you can buy. And that are very
I've seen them, little strips that you put on your teeth.
Yes, and it's very sort of unregulated, and sometimes people are encouraged at home to create their own gum shields, which can, when you then try and bleach your teeth, you can burn your gums. And
presumably that bleach on your gums is going to disrupt your beneficial microbes. Isn't that going to kill your microbes? I mean, bleach is powerful.
Also burn your gums as well.
And it's an antiseptic, so it's it's antibacterial. Anything that's antibacterial is going to kill your good bacteria as well as your bad ones.
Yes, you do want to So you want to be very careful with it. So you don't want to be doing it without professional advice. And it can be a lovely treatment. And you're right, it can take years off you if you have lovely white teeth. Providing you do it safely, it can have beautiful effects.
What about red light therapy? I've just seen a question here on my Instagram. And using
red light therapy. I haven't had red light therapy. Maybe to do with a certain type of whitening. Is that maybe you're referring to?
Yeah, I think it's. I have seen this actually. LED, using really high-powered LED. I'll have to ask Lily, because my daughter's getting into all that kind of high-tech light gadgetry. But there is definitely some evidence I've seen in America of people using LED, certain frequencies of LED. I think to whiten the teeth.
To whiten their teeth.
I think.
Yeah. A lot of it can be a gimmick. So a lot of things that it sounds great, it sounds different, can be quite a good selling point.
Just another opportunity to
be a bit cautious of. There are whitening practices that your dentist will tell you about that are safe to do. And
what about baking soda? Another question that's coming up here. That's a traditional remedy, brushing your teeth with baking soda.
Some of these things you have to be a bit cautious of, because they can be quite abrasive. So some of the toothpaste out there, also to be wary of, there's charcoal. There's a phase where charcoal toothpaste were very popular, and again, it's an abrasive agent. And really, if you're going to try and whiten your teeth, if you're going to try and scrub the stains off, you might also be lifting up more of the enamel, which is the white surface of the teeth, and exposing more of the dentine. So you're actually wearing the tooth away.
You could make it worse then. So you take away the white top coat and then reveal the more yellow underneath. That would not make anybody very happy.
So you have to
and makes your teeth sensitive, because I know that if I do too much scrubbing, I was actually advised by my dentist to use a much softer toothbrush, because I was really enjoying the feeling of a nice hard bristle brush. He's saying, actually, you're taking away too much. Liz, now that you are aging, thanks for the reminder, you need to protect, because otherwise you can get, and my teeth are much more sensitive. So I have been using a sensitive toothpaste, just a normal, it's like a Sensodyne whitening toothpaste.
Which is the right step to take. A sensitive toothpaste can be really effective for those early stages of sensitivity. But yes, if you do the manual toothbrush, you might be just a naturally slightly vigorous toothbrusher, which means that you might have a tendency to
take it more gently. I just don't think that I bought a soft bristle toothbrush, and it just like, well, what's this? This is just like rubbing my finger on my tooth. I didn't feel that it was actually cleaning.
It's
a mental thing. Maybe I just need to go gently. It's like buffing your teeth almost with a sort of soft cloth almost.
I think a lot of people used to say, you've got to scrub your teeth clean, and that kind of sticks with a lot of people, that you need to scrub them to be clean. Actually, the pressure you should use, like using this analogy, is if you have a ripe tomato, if you brush the tomato, you shouldn't break the skin. So it's not a hard brush. that is necessary for clean teeth. It's an accurate brush. So really, if you get the position of your brush to the angle of your gums and you're reaching the right areas, you don't need to be scrubbing your teeth.
Interesting.
In fact, scrubbing can cause gum recession.
Oh, right, okay, which is not a good thing, which then leads to sensitivity. I would definitely have before ended up with a lot of squashed tomatoes. So I'm going to keep that picture in my mind now when I do my toothbrushing. Very gentle tomato.
A gentle tomato.
Maria, I could talk to you for ages, but we are out of time. But I know that you have been working with my team on some articles online for Earle Wellbeing. Yes. And also, where do we find you? Because I can see there's lots of questions that have been pinging in on Instagram. You're probably going to be flooded with people coming over and following you and asking questions. Remind us of your Instagram handle.
Oh, that's lovely. So yeah, I'm at The Lifestyle Dentist, all together one word. So yeah, the best place to find me is on Instagram.
Okay, do you have a website as well, or?
Say again?
Do you have a website as well?
My website is currently in process of being created.
Okay.
So I will keep you informed through my Instagram.
And what about our friends on Facebook and YouTube? Can they find you, or have they got to get Instagram?
So Facebook, I don't have a lifestyle dentist on Facebook, but you could link to me via. So where we live in Scotland is Barwillenty Estate, and Barwillenty Estate is my Facebook page that is more about what goes on here in Scotland, but I also keep you slightly updated about my lifestyle.
Interesting. Barwillenty. How do you spell that?
Barwillenty. BARWHILLANTY.
Great. Well, I think Betty is on Facebook, so hopefully she can pop that up as a link. So that. And I imagine you've got some stuff on YouTube, have you? Have you done sort of tutorials and things?
There is. I should do more on YouTube, actually.
Yeah, I love YouTube.
It inspired me to do a bit more. Yeah, I've just got one talk that I did about the oral microbiome on YouTube. So you can listen to my oral microbiome, which is more aimed at dental professionals, so don't be fazed by a lot of the terms I use.
But that's so interesting, actually. And it's really interesting, I think, to always know what the professionals are being taught and what they hear about. I often drop into academic seminars, and I won't pretend to understand half of it, but I'll get the gist of a lot of it. And I think
and I think also dental professionals learning, it's all very new in our profession as well. This is a very different way of looking at the mouth, and I think we're trying to get people to see it from that point of view, the kind of microbiome as something that we can control and manage ourselves. It's quite a new way of thinking.
One last thing before you go, while I've got you, mouthwashes.
Yes.
They can be useful if they maybe have no alcohol. There are a lot on the market.
I was in the middle of saying that also. So mouthwashes, if you're going to use a mouthwash, use it at a separate time to brushing.
No.
Don't use it immediately after brushing. The reason being that mouthwashes generally have a lower concentration of fluoride, and if you just brushed your teeth, you're then replacing it with a lower concentration. And the fluoride is the protective agent, so you want to maintain that higher level of fluoride. But they definitely have a place, say after a meal, especially if you have a sweet snack. I didn't really go into sugars and things, but sugars, as we know, can have a really attacking effect on our mouths. So if you do have a sweet tooth and you snack regularly on sweet things, having a little rinse with a mouthwash afterwards that contains fluoride will be protective. If you do brush your teeth after eating a meal or a snack, just make sure you leave about 30 minutes, because of the softening of your enamel straight after a meal can just be a bit erosive.
Isn't that so interesting? And if you do use a mouthwash, you spit it out, obviously. Do you then leave your teeth alone, or do you then rinse your mouth with water, or is that going to remove?
No, just leave it. Yeah, leave it. Absolutely. Yeah, a lot of people want to get rid of this.
Exactly. Yeah.
But the kind of residue that's left in your mouth is actually where the fluoride will be sitting and protected.
Okay. And what about the ingredients for our microbes? I'm seeing all sorts of mouthwashes now that say they contain probiotics, for example. What do you think about that?
Yes, there's a kind of a bit of a shift towards that now. I mean, absolutely. I think if there's a mild mouthwash that can kind of, I guess, not be too harsh and contain a positive effect on the good bacteria, then that's no bad thing. Then absolutely, I would recommend choosing a mouthwash like that.
What about just rinsing our mouth out with kefir? She says, as somebody who's passionate about kefir. Could I use kefir as a mouthwash?
honestly, if you're drinking kefir as a regular drink, you don't need to worry about brushing your teeth at all.
But I could be swooshing it around in my mouth, pulling it in between my gums. Would my gut microbes like that?
Yeah, I mean, if you sort of swirl it around your mouth, it's going to have no damaging effect. Absolutely, it's a positive thing to do.
Gargle with kefir.
Practice it, Liz. Maybe you should.
That will be my next reel, clearly.
A kefir mouthwash. I think you're onto something.
Oh dear.
Oil pulling. Some people talk about oil pulling. That's one that I'm.
Let's do that another time. Okay.
Yeah,
this is such a fascinating area. Really, we're just opening the door, aren't we?
We just started. I know it could go on forever. But...
Yeah, same. Thank you so much. Maybe we should do something for YouTube. Maybe we should film something and put it out there, and then it's a kind of a static thing, and that can sit alongside the one that you've done for the more academic professionals.
Yeah, that would be a great idea.
Okay, right, we'll pick up on that. Have a lovely weekend. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much. It's lovely to connect with you.
Thank you. Enjoy the weekend and the weather up there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, isn't that all so interesting? Honestly, I wish we had more time, but yeah, I learnt a lot. Yeah, my goodness, hearing all the chat that's going on here on Instagram. So fascinating. And in fact, because I knew that I'd be talking to Maria, and I knew that one of her big passions was oral microbiome, I did do a little digging around, and there are some very interesting things out there. Now, I did mention this probiotic company in the West Country, not far from me, called Microbes, which is micro and then BZ at the end. And we do still have our Liz Loves discount with them. I have a feeling that might run out too at the end of the month, so I need to be a bit careful about that. But lots of you have got their Revive liquid, which I've been taking every morning. It's in my fridge, along with my teaspoons. And that has been really good. Oh yeah, it's 20% off. 20% off. It doesn't give an end date, so hopefully. So Microbes, Betty, I know that you'll pop a link up for that. But one of the things that I mentioned when I first talked about them is the fact that they have some natural toothpastes. So these look really interesting. This one says it has an alkaline pH value and it's homeopathic compatible. So, and this one, they're German. I think the Germans are often so good, aren't they, with their natural healthcare and all their plant sort of phytotherapy things. So anyway, so that might be worth checking out if you're interested. A couple of you asked how I got on with the probiotic spray, because something else that they have on the Microbes website was this antibacterial surface cleaner, and it's really interesting. I mean, it comes in a little sachet, okay, so that's how you get the sachet, and then you fill it with filtered water. So it's really good in terms of being really eco, because you're just buying the little paper sachets, then you're not having to buy lots of endless plastic refills. And then this is a really nice sort of just very fine mist. You get the spray and you get the cloth with it. And what it does is you spray it onto surfaces, and it contains probiotics that battle the bacteria on the surface. So they're kind of working a bit more holistically rather than just sort of blanketly, zapping everything, which, we know that our homes can be too sterile, don't we? We hear about people that have issues with allergies, or they're just overly stripping the houses, particularly, if you've got small children who need to develop their immune system and get their own immunity working well. So this could be another good answer. And apparently, if you really want to blitz your kitchen or wherever, you spray it on, you leave it sprayed on for a day, and then you come back, or overnight. It says here, the probiotics will actively clean surfaces. Even if you wipe it away, you still leave some of the little probiotic bugs on there for up to 72 hours. Isn't that amazing? Munching away all the dirt and things. Anyway, I'm going to be doing more research into that, because I just think it's, me and gut bugs, fascinated by it. So, but that's called We Are Probiotic Multi-Surface Cleaner, and that is on the same website, so you do still get the discount on that as well, which is good. Now, because I was talking to Maria about teeth, I became very interested in what I should be doing with my own teeth, obviously. Number one, I'm going to have to find my tongue scraper. But there are a few brands that I discovered online, and we'll pop links up if you're interested. So this one I thought was possibly for me the one that I was going to try, and I have actually tried this. Brushed my teeth with it last night and this morning. It's called Love Biotics, L-U-V, Love Biotics. Advanced dental hygiene, and it says helps maintain oral health, whitens teeth, that's something I'm interested in, and freshens breath, balances oral flora, and this has got in it silica and xylitol, which helps to strengthen the teeth, and it has fluoride, which Dr. Maria was saying is a really good thing. It has aloe in here, and tocopherol acetate, which is vitamin E. So I think that is, this says here, it's powered by probiotics to promote good bacteria and balance oral flora for a happier, healthier mouth. Okay. They also make these lozenges. Not quite what those are going to do. These are, ooh, interesting. You slowly dissolve one lozenge in your mouth after brushing your teeth and after meals, when brushing is not immediately possible. That's quite interesting, isn't it? So again, that is using the good ingredients to freshen the breath and to be good for your teeth and your gums. And the other thing that I used, actually literally I tried it just before I came on air with you all, was they have a nice mouthwash, and this actually tastes really good. It's a slightly minty. Don't know if it has a smell. Yeah, slightly sort of minty smell. And this says it maintains oral health, freshens breath, fights bad bacteria, reduces plaque, and balances oral flora. So yeah, good. This is one of the ones that's got the lactobacillus in it. So this has got one of the probiotics in the mouthwash. But of course, I used it just after brushing my teeth. So I now know, after talking to Maria, the lifestyle dentist, that I should wait. So I will do that next time. Anyway, that's you'll find these online if you want the actual links. You can go to my bio in Instagram and you'll find the link. I know that Betty has very kindly going to copy and paste some links. The other ones that I found here just out of interest, which I'm going to be trying, this is Zendium. So this says it supports the natural enzymes and to balance the good and the bad bacteria in the oral microbiome. And they also have toothpaste and mouthwashes that says it reduces ulcers and weakening gums. So that, I think, sounds really interesting. This is 100% natural enzymes in here. So that's working in a slightly different way. And again, I tried that one earlier. Again, it's similar taste. It's quite minty. So you just use a capful of that and swoosh that around. So yeah, Zendium, if you want to have a look at that one. And then the other one, which I do really love, it's a bit of an extravagant, this one, is Aesop, which is a lovely natural beauty brand. This comes in a glass bottle, so you have to be quite careful in your bathroom. And this is using clove bud and anise and spearmint leaf. And we know that clove oil is naturally very antiseptic and also has pain-killing properties. So I actually keep a tiny bottle of clove oil in my bag, in my travel bag, just in case I'm away, particularly if I'm travelling in Africa and I don't have access to, conventional medical care. If I get an infected tooth or toothache, I will pop a little bit of clove bud oil on. And this is a delicious mouthwash, I have to say. If you like aniseed and licorice, which I do, I really do, this is quite an aniseedy flavour. So again, yeah, useful to try. So where are we saying? Oh, I love all the way they write everything. They're quite a clever, quirky brand, I think. And it says here, Aesop considers good manners and impeccable hygiene essential to cordial daily conduct. Absolutely right. And so, to politely protect the olfactory contentment of your loyal loved ones, fellow commuters, one day, or neighbouring theatre-goers, we advise a voluminous swig and gargle of Aesop or Aesop mouthwash prior to all public appearances. Well, there you go. hopefully we will be making some public appearances before too long. Anyway, thank you very much, Betty, for popping the link to those. I hope you enjoy them. Right, in other news, I have got some questions that have come in here. Lots of you finding the YouTube interview that went live yesterday with Emma Bezic fascinating. This is all about nutrigenomics. I was talking about the lifestyle code GX. I mean, it just blows me away, these results that you're going to get and that I've had back in recently for my family. Just extraordinary, showing the precise nutrients that we need. And we are, again, very grateful for the discount codes that we have with that too. Claire on Instagram, this is talking about the My 5 Minutes that I've been doing, saying, just tried your turmeric latte for the first time. Lovely. Thanks for all your tips every day. It's really great to try these different things I would never know or think of. Well, you're very welcome. Hopefully there'll be more. If you like them, let me know and I'll see what I can do, put my thinking cap on and try and come up with some more things. Lots of chat also about the podcast I did last week with Dr. Tina Pears. This is talking about COVID and long COVID and histamine, and she's got a very good protocol, nutritional protocol on her website, Dr. Tina Pears, for anybody with COVID or with long COVID who wants to get well. So do please take a listen to that. I've also recorded a new Friday 5. This is with the wonderful researcher and academic Dr. Zoe Harcombe, and we talk about lots of things. Oh my goodness, we talk about vitamin D, how to find the right levels for us. We talk about the nutrients that you might be in need of, particularly to keep our immune system strong, and particularly actually if you've been doing veganuary or more plant-based eating, talking about the dangers of actually missing out of some of the important nutrients. So if that's you or somebody in your family, do please take a listen, because it really is worth listening to. And I think talking about things that we need to listen to, I think there's also, bear in mind, there are certain things out there, particularly at the moment, that maybe we need to switch off or not listen to too much. I think we're all just feeling so frazzled and fried. And, I know as the mother of 5 young ones at different ages, the impact, particularly on our children, our young people and mental health, is massive. And in fact, I was talking to Michael Gary about it this morning. It was wonderful, wasn't it, to see him live on Wednesday. And so I did my usual Friday morning session with him online this morning. And he was saying, that the news, he came up with a great expression actually. He said the news has to stop drip feeding poor mental health. I thought that's such a great expression, this drip feeding, continual drip feeding. And in fact, I was aware of an open letter that was written to the government by the British Psychological Society. And this is a group of respected, mental health medics and experts. And they said, they were actually accusing the government of using fear to inflate anxiety levels. And it's just, I do feel that if there was a meter for anxiety, the dial would be turned right up right now. And, we often hear about, we do hear all the time about all the bad news, but never the good news, never actually the positives that come out of it. And, the people who are recovering, or actually the percentages of people who are really well. And I think, we do need to focus a little bit more on the positive. So stay away from toxic news is my message. I've actually started listening to talk radio in the morning. I can't actually, I'm afraid, cope with BBC or Sky. That's maybe a bit too political and controversial, but there you go. I just find that I need a bit more balance. And of course there's bad stuff out there, but I'd like it to be balanced with some hope and some optimism as well. And for my own mental health, because actually, I feel fortunate in that I feel very well. I've talked about this before, particularly with my nutrigenomics. I now take glutathione, which was, for me, it was the last little missing bit of the jigsaw. So I feel very fortunate that I have, my vitamin D, I have my magnesium for sleep, I've got my slumber drops, I've got plenty of estrogen in my system from my HRT. I feel physically able to cope. And I'm obviously doing my, home gym, just doing in my bedroom, prancing around in my leotard. Well, not quite my leotard, just usually my pants. But there you are. You can see all the things I've been doing on YouTube. Again, things I've recorded with Michael Gary. So, physically, yeah, okay, tick. Mentally, really, really watching it, actually. Really watching it. And I'm really enjoying re-listening to some of the podcasts that we've done about resilience and about change. People, lovely contributors that I've had on, like Julia Samuels and Gemma Fitzgerald and Dr Rebecca Lewis, and so many really helpful things out there. So do please take a listen and take a look around. If you are struggling, you're not the only one, trust me. And we've got lots of resources that are completely free on Earle Wellbeing. So go and have a look. You can have a read up. You can download lots and lots of different podcasts and just settle down, snuggle down, maybe make that lovely turmeric latte, because it is so delicious and it's so comforting. I think on my Instagram I described it as a hug in a mug, and it does feel like that. I think we all need a bit of a hug, don't we? Oh dear. In fact, I was just thinking about hugs. The British Psychological Society, and you can look them up actually. They've got a very good Twitter feed. For those of you on Twitter, you'll find them at BPS Official. And they did a report recently which was looking at how a year without hugs has affected our mental health. And, I feel very fortunate that I do have, my children around me, and, I am able to physically hug. It's so important, but a lot of people, that's not the case. So, yeah, and if you're on Twitter, by the way, do please, you might want to follow me. I'm Lizelle Me on Twitter. I don't kind of tweet that much. I do a little bit more, perhaps on Twitter, about different subjects. Particularly engaging with a lot of the health medics who are working, in the forefront at the moment of what's going on around us. So, a lot of the links to studies that I talk about, for example, or perhaps things that are, a bit more heavyweight than I would talk about here, maybe. But I'd love some company on Twitter. Twitter's a bit of a scary place, actually. I think particularly for a woman, lone woman, there are lots of people out there, and there are bots and trolls and all sorts. But it is still a useful resource, I think, for connecting. And you can follow a lot of independent news feeds as well, so you don't need to rely on mainstream media. I actually get some of my news now from France 24, believe it or not, because they just report the news. It's like, it's not opinion. Don't want opinion. Thank you very much. Got my own opinions. But I just want to know what's going on. And they're globally, I think they are very factual. Anyway, there we go. I'm just going to finish with one other thing, just in case any of you have been super observant watching this. This is a jumper. It's one of my favourite jumpers, okay? And I normally keep it in my studios in London, but it came down to the farm with me at the beginning of lockdown. And I thought I'd wear it today because it's cheery and it was matching my tulips, which I've got here. But look, the pesky moth, the Southwest London moth, have been at it. So I am not at all pleased about that. And it was a reminder that I need to take my moth decoys when I next go back to London. I need to take those with me. And we do still have the Liz Loves discount on Total Wardrobe Care. If you missed the broadcast that I did a few weeks ago now, showing how these really safe, effective, bioactive little decoys work to basically stop the moths from having the larvae, hatching the larvae. And it was a really fascinating discussion with Julia, who's the female founder there. And I've used their products here at the farm for a long time, so I kind of got blasé about moth. And finding that they have eaten their way through a favourite jumper has really not made me at all happy. But there we go. I guess there are bigger problems in the world that we need to deal with. Oh, thank you, Betty. You've popped that up. totalwardrobecare.co.uk. Yep, if you use Liz Loves, all in capitals, all in one word, it gets you 10% off. They've got amazing things actually on the website, but it's the moth decoy that you need to go to, and it's got this electrostatic carnauba wax pheromone. God, that's a lot to say, isn't it, at the end of a broadcast? But you use them, I think, every month or every 3 months you replace the little pellet in your wardrobe. And honestly, the moth, it doesn't kill the moth, but it basically effectively sterilises them, so they can't go and lay the larvae that munch through our fabrics. And they use them, they use them in the royal palaces, they use them in historic houses, they use them in the V&A and the Natural History Museum. They are very safe and very effective and really, really good. They're one of those things. That's what I love about Liz Loves, the hearts. I genuinely love the moth decoy and total wardrobe care. So massive hearts, and I guess if anything, this was just a reminder really that we need to be using it. So that is it for today. I hope you have enjoyed everything that we've chatted about. Thank you for being part of this community. As always, you can leave me comments. I don't do direct message, but I do look at the comments. I'm going to be active on Instagram a little bit over the weekend. I've got a couple of new recipes to share with you, so I hope you enjoy that. If you get my newsletter, that will be winging its way to your inbox if you're watching me in real time at around 4 o'clock this afternoon, so watch out for that. Of course, there is the new episode of the Friday 5 that has just gone live as well for you to listen to. So I'll be back with you on Monday. Look forward to seeing you all there. And thank you. Yeah, sending lots of love to everybody. As Dave and Jan says there on Instagram, lots of love to everybody who feels that they are struggling a bit or a lot. But we can all be positive together, hopefully, and send love to everybody. Have a great weekend and a great week ahead. See you soon. Bye.